I hope this video doesn't get flagged, but 4 years ago, there was lockdowns all across the world um, over disease that we know now at its peak had only a 1% fatality rate. For anyone under the age of 80, it had a 1% fatality rate. And over 80, it was over 1%. I mean, that was most of the people who were dying were over 80. And basically everything shut down because of this. And there were multiple experts, disease experts, pandemic experts, that suggested that we handle this a different way, that we go the way of that Sweden did, which is focus protection, where they protected older people and let young people do basically what they wanted, live the way they wanted to, because this disease, for the most part, didn't affect young people. Most young people under the age of 50, I would say, it was like a cold to them. It was like a cold. You ask any young person who didn't have an extreme comorbidity, it was basically slightly worse than the common cold, but not as bad as the flu. Literally ask any young person, either that got the V or didn't get the V. And I fell for it for a while, but then I started realizing, once most people who got it didn't die from it, I was like, yeah, this is starting to get a little nonsense. We did all that over this. And, there's people that going on, that are like, oh, well, I would fight back against the government if they ever took my rights away. Well, that was one thing. They took away rights and no one fought back, right? I didn't see anybody fighting back other than protests. I didn't see any of that stuff. I didn't see anyone, marching down and stopping things. The only thing that was a widespread thing like that was the trucker protest in Canada. That actually got things changed. It actually got things changed and got it to where Canada became back to normal. And what I'm saying is the government can literally do this for anything. They could do this for climate change. They can do this for terror. You name it. You name it. Okay? You name it. I've seen it happen over and over again. The war on terror, they were scaring everybody about Muslims. And then when Barack Obama became president, and supposedly he was a Muslim, and now there was Americans that were against him because he was a Muslim, then the terrorists became the American people, the patriots, the Tea Party, right? And so it turned from people outside to people inside. The threat was inside. And this is well known to go on. We cannot support any more of this propaganda. What happened 4 years ago was one thing, and I'm not going to even say what its name is because I might get flagged. But everything they said about it turned out to be false. Everything the conspiracy theories were saying about it mostly turned out to be true. Right? It only affected people over, a certain age. It wasn't deadly for anybody who didn't have a comorbidity. It was under a certain age. And we stopped the whole world because of this. I couldn't get toilet paper or food in the grocery store for, months because of this. Now, eventually, luckily I've had food, and luckily I was able to, eat off of canned food and stuff like that. But just imagine if you didn't have access to that. The starvation that would happen all over a disease that was only 1% deadly for anyone under the age of 80. And for people under the age of like 20, kids, there was a lower death rate of this disease than there was of the flu. And we all fell for this. And just remember, this is 4 years now. They shut down everything for 2.5 years. I remember for 2.5 years, you couldn't really do anything until the war in Ukraine broke out. And then all of a sudden, the disease went away. No one was talking about the disease. 2.5 years. I still remember the war in Ukraine happened, and then, we still had some people wearing masks and then mask mandates until, the beginning of 2023. So, but we were trying to move on now. But let's not move on. I say, let's remember this. Your rights can be easily taken away. And this is something that most people collectively agree on. This was pretty scary what the government could do to you.